All right, everybody, what is going on? Good morning. Hope you guys are doing well today, and we are moving on to a new position. And this one, it's kind of tricky, right? Because now we're talking about some offensive line stuff. The one offensive line position that I think people are really going to be clued into will be right guard because of the Bradford situation. And we already talked about that one a few weeks ago. So on the surface, we're talking about players that the Seahawks are not going to be that interested in. But I don't know if it's that simple because you have to remember these players, these offensive linemen, they often move to different positions when they get to the NFL. They play one position in college and they have to move to another one at the next level because their physical limitations make it so they need to kind of bump to a different spot. So we'll see. This video is sponsored by Prize Picks. More on them later. But left tackle, the odds of a college left tackle becoming an NFL right guard, I think, are kind of low. Usually, you might see a left tackle either bump over to the right side if they're a little too immobile, and maybe they slide to left guard if they're a little bit more short armed. But for the most part, I don't think you usually see left tackles go to right guard, especially not the left tackles that go in the first round. These guys typically go in the first because they will be left tackles, or at least tackles at the NFL level. Now, one thing to keep in mind is in this video and the videos I'm going to be posting later today and tomorrow, and I think it'll be just those 2 days though. They're going to be the guys who played left tackle in the college ranks. There are going to be some other guys, like some right tackles that might play on the left side, but they played right in college, so I'm going to leave them there. And then we'll see where they end up in the NFL because sometimes it's really hard to figure this stuff out ahead of time. So anyway, Monroe Freeling is going to be our first guy up here, the Georgia left tackle, 22 years old. This one's interesting, right? When the season ended, he was looked at a guy near the back of the first round, and he's been moving up ever since. And now he's actually the highest rated left tackle on the aggregate big board. So the offseason has been kind to him. And you can kind of understand why. He's a big dude, 6'7" and almost half an inch, 90th percentile. So he's got a big frame. He's not super heavy, but he's 315 pounds, and he's got the frame to add weight. Pretty long arms, 34 and 3/4, big hands, and he tested really well. Sub 4.9540, 171 10-yard split, and 33.5-inch vert. Very strong, especially for a guy his size. So you look at the big boards, everyone has him in the first except for CBS. They actually have him in the second. Don't know what's going on there. But most of the big boards, especially the more recent ones, middle first. The aggregate actually pulls him up a little to 11 right now. So he's gaining steam. And it's not necessarily anything he did in college, because you take a look at his play in college, it's okay. This is more of a potential thing. Freeling, 72.3 PFF grade last year, allowed 2 sacks and 6 hurries, 2 penalties. It's fine, but we've seen a lot better. Usually the top left tackle in the draft has better a better performance than this. In 2024, not really better. The he showed improvement, right? He did show some improvement, but this still isn't like some lock it down franchise left tackle to me. So, nevertheless, let's talk about Freeling a little bit here. Do you like sports? If you do, then the best way to make them even better and more exciting is using Prize Picks, where it always feels good to be right. Prize Picks makes daily fantasy simple. Just pick more or less on your favorite players' projections and build lineups with a few taps. Whatever sport you're into, Prize Picks gives you a fun way to stay locked in while you're watching. I've had a great time using Prize Picks so far. It makes this daily fantasy thing so easy and fun, and it even makes watching the games way more exciting. And with the cool social feeds feature, you can share lineups with your friends and even follow partners to tail or fade their picks. Obviously, we're in the NFL offseason right now, but we've got basketball, baseball, hockey, all kinds of other stuff, so don't be afraid to test things out in whatever sport clicks with you. You can even pick multiple sports in the same lineup and sweat everything at once. And don't forget about team picks, where you can pick winners, spreads, and totals on any major game. So, download Prize Picks, America's #1 sports app. And don't forget, code HMA, that is HMA, gives you $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. It's good to be right. And remember, always gamble responsibly. So anyway, he's a phenomenal athlete, as he showed at the combine. He will be great in zone, which very important. He can move, he can play in space. He didn't play a ton in college, like he was not a super experienced player at Georgia. So he should improve quickly just because he doesn't have reps right now. He's good in terms of handling like twists and stunts in games up front. So he is somebody that you can rely on to figure things out cerebrally. And he's got decent strength. He's got enough strength to at least get the job done for now. And I think the most interesting thing about Freeling is he can add weight. He's currently 315, but he could go up to 320, 325, 330 pretty easily because he's got the frame for it. So if he needs to add muscle, and I do think that he does, or if he just needs to get bigger in general, he has the ability to do it. It may cost him a little bit of his athleticism, but I do think that he can still be good. Now, I am a little bit suspicious of a guy who was considered to be mostly a late first round pick until after the season ended, which is what Freeling was. Always a little bit suspicious. He's very tall, which may cause leverage issues. He may have issues with players getting under his pads. He may struggle early because he doesn't have a lot of collegiate experience, and there's a lot he needs to learn. He doesn't have very good hand placement. His hand placement's all over the place. He will need to add some strength. He will need to add some muscle. I don't think he's got enough to really drive block. I don't think he's got enough to really absorb bull rushes. And there is some lunging on his tape. So, yeah, I don't know. This feels like a potential pick. I do understand the appeal. That frame combined with that athleticism, that does stand out in a pretty positive way. So, I'd go late teens on him. I'm not quite seeing him in like the I don't know about him at 15 or 14 or that range. There's just something here that screams buyer beware to me. So I'd go somewhere around 17, 18, 19. I'm not putting him up at 11 like the aggregate currently has. I think that PFF has the close to the right idea with 13. ESPN has 14. We're close. Okay, the next ranked left tackle on the big boards right now is Kadyn Proctor of Alabama. This was the #1 guy for a pretty big chunk of this season, and Freeling has kind of taken over in recent months. So 21 years old, so got good age, young, can get better. The dude is big. The dude is an absolute monster. Not necessarily super tall. He's over 6'6" 6.5", so that's good. But he is over 350 pounds, 97 percentile, one of the biggest tackles ever. So much so that he doesn't even really look like a left tackle. He looks like, at best, a right tackle, but he looks like a tall guard. And right away, you might have concerns, and you are right to, but this guy is an absolute behemoth, and the thing is, he is athletic still. His arms are not super long, less than 33 and a half inches, but I think he can survive with that. And remember, there is a general belief that the combine may have gotten arm lengths wrong this season. Hands are a little bit small. The testing is mixed, but remember how big he is. When you remember that, it's fine. You're not getting Proctor because you want the most athletic tackle in the world. You're getting him because he's powerful. The vert and broad are very impressive for his size. The big boards, they pretty much all have him in the first somewhere. CBS has him at number 4. The aggregate has him at 21. He has really good numbers, really good PFF grade from 2025, 86.1. His pass protection numbers, not great, admittedly. He's graded pretty well as a pass protector, but The numbers are shaky. Talking about like 21 total pressures, 2 penalties. The previous year, it was okay. So some mixed signals here for sure. So the dude is giant. He's really athletic for a guy his size. He's very explosive. He's very heavy. He knocks defenders around like bowling pins as well. If you get him in a situation where he gets to just blow through guys, he will put people on their behinds over and over again. And he can do zone stuff. He can do move blocks. It's not great, but it's better than it has any right to be at this weight. Skilled pass protector against speed and strength. It's not perfect, but he has the ability to absorb bull rushes because he's so strong and powerful and big. And he's not completely lost against speed like you might expect. If you can get Proctor on the second level and let him block against linebackers and defensive backs, it's game over. Like, he will engulf them. Now, not the most cerebral lineman yet. He still struggles with twisting and stunting. So you got to simplify things for him a little bit. He's got some conditioning issues, I think. Conditioning, I think, needs to improve. His weight still shows up negatively sometimes when trying to block in space. He's not great out there. And when you're carrying around all that weight and you've got, heavy footwork, there are problems. He doesn't sink his hips, and his height becomes a weakness. And speed rushers can give him issues. It's not perfect, and it's probably never going to be because he's so big. But you have to sign up for that. So this dude is fascinating. He's terrifying. I have to admit, I'm kind of enamored with the idea of a 350-pound left tackle who can play a little bit on the move. And even if he doesn't succeed on the left side, I imagine he can go to the right side and make it work because right tackles tend to be heavier, and there is a track record for 350-pound right tackles. So I'd go top 15. I like him a little bit better than Freeling right now, but it's just out of curiosity more than anything. I just want to see how this works. Okay, one final guy for this video, one more first-round graded left tackle guy in this group. It's Caleb Lomu of Utah, 21 years old. So, decent height, 6'6.25", 313 pounds, so not super heavy. Arm length is okay. Again, we're giving a little bit of leeway here for the combine, having maybe not accurately captured things. Small hands. Tested well. Good testing scores. Sub 5 seconds, 1.74 10-yard split. Good jumps. Most of the big boards have him in the first. Couple have him in the second. The aggregate has him in the 20s. His PFF grades in college, not great. Kind of mediocre, honestly. And if you believe PFF, he regressed in 2025. His pass rush numbers in terms of pressures allowed were really good last year. 4 penalties, though, did commit more penalties than you might like. But overall, Caleb Lomu, good prospect, good potential here. He's very polished, and that's really notable because he's 21. I think he's ready to play now. Not that he'll be perfect now, but I do think there's some real polish here. He's technically sound for the most part. He has a variety of punch sets he can pull out. He's not going to just do the same thing every time. If you're rushing against him, it's going to be really hard to keep up. He handles upfront games well. He's somebody who's really good at handling twists and stunts and not always blocking the guy who's in front of him at the start of the play. He's athletic enough to play in space, and the testing numbers back that up. He can play in space. He is athletic enough to make a mistake and then recover, and he also does a pretty good job absorbing contact and holding up against a bull rush. Now, I do think that the particularly skilled rushers, he can make mistakes. Now, he's good at recovering from his mistakes, but sometimes he'll open up the gate a little too early. Sometimes he'll overset. Sometimes he'll underset. There are some things there that he needs to refine. He's not overly strong. He's not overly powerful. He's kind of got, I think he's got some muscle he needs to add, and he can, and I think he will. He does occasionally lose balance and have body control issues when in space. He is going to have to learn how to lower his pad level and play lower, sink the hips. And he didn't look as athletic on tape as he did look at the combine. So you do have to be a little bit careful. So this is a tough one. I feel like he's going to be good in pretty much every area, but he's not necessarily going to be stellar. I don't think he'll be a star in any one area. I think he'll just be generally effective. The one caveat would be he's only 21, and he's not turning 22 until December. So something to keep in mind. So normally I'd say late first rounder, but in this class, yeah, he should probably go in the top 20, I think. Again, got to put the big board together before I finalize that. All right, see you guys later. Go Hawks. Let me know what you think. More videos coming soon.